Welcome to the Bms Podcast. We're coming at you live in direct from Norfolk, Virginia. I'm your host, Avery Fuller, with my co-host, Stephen Trotman Bay, a.k.a.
The Guru.
And guest of the year, sitting on there in the chair, my man, B. Trotman. Holla at your boy.
B. Trotman, glad to be back.
Yes, sir. We glad to have you back in. It's been a great week in sports, and it's a ton, once again, to talk about, and I'm here for it. First and foremost, don't forget, as always, BetMoreSports.com, all the social media outlets. Check us out, follow, like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Show us some love. Man, Phoenix got eliminated by Luka by itself. Luka pretty much just beat him 1-on-20.
Luka was a little upset. Devin Booker tried to take that ball from him.
Yeah.
Ever since then, boy, Luka been on another level.
So I think Phoenix was expected to win this series. What y'all think about the results? I'm gonna start with you, Guru.
Oh man, it says a lot about Jason Kidd and a lot about Luka.
Yeah, I mean,
a whole lot about those two in particular, man. They had a clip of Jason Kidd kind of coaching up the defense on the sideline and the rotation of how they was just basically blitzing Devin Booker and forcing everybody else to beat him. And Phoenix just really showed their lack of star power. I'm going to say that.
Okay. They definitely showed this lack of star power because I think Chris Paul finished with, 10 points?
Mm-hmm. Chris Paul played bad, I think from game 2 on out.
They was down 30 at the half, right? That's crazy to be down 30 at the half in game 7 of a game that's going to put you in the conference championship.
But you know what was even crazier is that they had 27 and Luka had 27 at the half.
Yeah,
that was the craziest stat of the playoffs. The people went to half with 27 points, and Luka had 27.
B, what you think about it?
I think Jason Kidd did a heck of a job coaching, man. He's a heck of a coach. But Devin Booker definitely had to turn the page in this series, man. He really had to turn into a superstar.
Well,
right before our eyes, man. But he disappeared. Bridges disappeared. You know, the thing about it is they actually picked the wrong game to have a bad game.
Literally.
You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, they really did. To depend on a 37-year-old Chris Paul to be your scoring leader, and be able to, get buckets for you and things of that nature at 37, that's asking a lot of them. I think, Booker should have turned the page in that game for sure. Game 7 at home, definitely.
I think what got me is, how everybody used to talk about how Devin Booker trained with Kobe and
right.
He had that Kobe mentality.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And that is in the trash right now.
Right.
Kobe would have shot out the ball 100 times.
Never.
Before he let that type of game happen.
Never. And it's funny you say that because it's two people that stick out that they said worked out with him at that time, and that was Booker and that was Tatum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Tatum.
Right. But we'll get with Tatum. But to see Booker struggle the way he struggled in a game that was a closing out game 7, moving on.
And they was picked to win.
And they was picked to win.
Was top seed. But I don't think that they was relying on Chris Paul to be the leading scorer. I just think they was relying on him not to give me 10 points, to give me something more than that, not to
make his presence.
I looked at the stat one time, and I think that him and Devin Booker had combined for 3 points, and they was neither one of them had made a field goal.
That was at halftime, right?
Right. They was 0 for 7 and 0 for 6. You see what I'm saying? So these are the two people that we do rely on. One is a surefire future Hall of Famer. If you're a surefire future Hall of Famer, I'm not expecting you to come into this game and go 0 for nothing. I don't give a damn how old you are.
Yeah.
I expect you to be that second scorer when they blitz my best player.
And that was literally the worst game of the series for them. It makes zero sense to me to have the worst game of the series.
This was a bad series for Chris Paul, period. But it's been stretches through the season that he has scored single digits and 10 points and things of that nature, where Devin Booker and everybody else has taken it to another level. And led them to the number 1 seed. You know what I'm saying? So if Chris Paul is struggling, everybody else has to step it up, and we still get the job done. Vice versa, when Devin Booker went out against New Orleans, and everybody else stepped up, and they was able to get out of that series.
So last week we was talking about Jason Kidd and what it'll mean for them if he was to beat the Suns, and I think at the time we was having a conversation, we didn't expect them to actually beat the Suns, but he did it.
At that time, I did say if he accomplished that mission, I had him over Doc Rivers automatically.
You did.
As a coach.
You did, and it's crazy that he was able to accomplish that, and the Lakers didn't hire him.
Hats off to Jason Kidd, man. Much respect to Jason Kidd. You did a hell of a job to get to the Western Conference Finals because nobody expected you to get to the Western Conference Finals, and that's about far as you're gonna go.
Right, absolutely. So. Shout to the Mavs. Good job.
Good job.
Now y'all got Golden State. Let's see what happened now. But the Suns losing created a score of criticism for Chris Paul.
Was it the Suns losing or Chris Paul losing? Because it seemed like all the attack is on CP3,
right.
like he was out there by himself.
Right, exactly. Right. And in the process, you got some of the players on the team, like, for instance, Campaign. He posted his list of excuses. Take a look. So you saw the list of excuses. Ain't no need to read them. But the internet said this. Guru, what's your thoughts?
My thing is, why is Campaign even the spokesperson for the Phoenix Suns? Like, whether you had back issues or not, man, won't nobody relying on you to actually do nothing in this series. Like, you was the last person that anybody needed to hear from.
You notice he had to mention his injury? Like,
exactly. Like, your injury wasn't even significant. You could have left that off the list.
Right.
You know what I mean? We understand Booker with the hamstring or Chris Paul with a quad or even DeAndre Ayton. Right. But why did you list you had back trouble? Like, somebody was relying on you to step up.
You could take your back home. Nobody give a damn about that back. So even then,
that's how you knew it was bullshit, though.
Yeah, and you could see from the video that it was a party in there before the game. They were partying before the game, after the game. It don't matter. They partying. But you know, ESPN, they got a tendency to just kind of take players because they play in the NBA or played in the NBA, and they say, "Come on the show and be an analyst." And that created a whole nother situation where Patrick Beverly,
Pat Bev,
was on all the ESPN shows. It don't matter what it is. First Take, Get Out, Sports Center, and he went hard on Chris Paul. Let's take a look.
You were saying some of these things based upon some sort of personal animosity.
No, I'm saying all this because this is what the NBA says, and players in the NBA know this. I'm just. My coach used to tell my coach Finch. He told me, "I'm just the weatherman. I'm just giving you letting you know if it's raining or not, brother."
Yeah.
These are other. I'm not the only one who says this. There's other people, man. What? If I'm playing a game and I'm getting ready for the Phoenix Suns, come on, let's go. If I'm getting a game and I'm getting ready for the Golden State Warriors, I'll holler at y'all tomorrow. I got an early one. I'm just saying, my preparation is very different.
I see.
That's all.
And that's because of Steph and Clay and all of that.
Steph.
Steph.
Yeah,
So people will look at Steph and Chris Paul and say they are the two preeminent players of their generation at their position? Do you compare the two of them?
No, you can't compare them. Very different players, but I agree with what you said.
That they would be the two preeminent guys of their position. I don't want to put any words in your mouth. I feel like you're saying that Chris Paul is overrated, that people view him in a way, but you haven't used that word, so I don't want to put it in your mouth. But is that what you're saying, that people generally overrate how great a player he is?
I think he's been in a fortunate situation to be, president of NBPA and State Farm commercials. So he's fortunate to get certain calls in games that normal guys don't usually get. I'll say that.
And so, as you saw, my man done lost his mind.
What did he?
It's so.
Yeah, I think he did, for sure. He definitely did. Not in so much of some of the things that he said, but sitting Chris Paul down, benching him, some of the comments that he said.
Those comments, I really wasn't in true disagreement.
Right, I didn't really disagree either,
with that.
because you got to try to see if Chris Paul ain't doing nothing, you got to take him out and see if somebody else can at least get a spark going.
But it's hard to sit Chris Paul if Campaign got back problems.
What I'm saying,
It's hard to sit Chris Paul if you got Campaign coming off the bench.
Right.
Yeah,
What I'm
true.
saying is, you don't sit Chris Paul. Chris Paul is a Hall of Famer. He's a first
It doesn't
ballot.
matter. You trying to win a series.
But he's a first
Listen,
ballot,
listen,
and
that
I'm
first
going to go
ballot-
down with my top guys, no matter what. I'm going down with
I
my
don't-
top
I
guys.
don't
Listen,
agree with
James
that
Harden.
totally.
James Harden is probably going to be a Hall of Famer, right? But when I saw him shot, if I would have seen him shoot once in the third quarter, I would have benched him. Because at the end of the day, you holding us down.
Right.
If we need you to shoot the ball 20 times, and you shoot the ball once, that's a problem. Because our system is predicated around your game, and your game is predicated around you shoot the ball.
Are we dependent upon a 37-year-old? Is what I'm asking.
Of course.
So if we're not
He's a leader.
dependent on him,
He's a leader.
then why we can't bench him?
So
Right.
we are. So we are dependent upon him. So forget Ayton, forget Devin Booker, forget Bridges, because to me those guys are the guys that need to be 20 or better.
It's
Every last
Devin
one of them
Booker,
guys.
CP3. That's the 1-2 on Phoenix Suns.
Yep.
All the other people you
Right.
name are not who we go to get buckets.
We're not giving the 37-year-olds no super maxes right now. He's on his way out. So at the end of the day, these three guys that I just named are the ones that if they give us 20 points, whatever CP3 give us is a bonus. We definitely should be in the driver's seat for to win that ball game. You see what I'm saying? So my problem with what Pat Bev said is, because he got history with him, of course. You know what I mean? You could tell by some of the things he's saying, because he's saying things about CP3, but he's also contradicting himself about James Harden. So it's he got some history with CP3. We get it. He played a bad series. Okay.
Right.
You can't afford to play a bad series. We get it. But they don't get out of the New Orleans series without him.
But
You see what I'm saying?
getting out of New Orleans and getting to Dallas is two different series. We're not going to compare apples to oranges.
Right.
So it's not apples and oranges, but what I will say, Guru, and this is something that you stick to and you adamant about, is push come to shove, I'm gonna take the best player on that team, and that's who I'm gonna roll with. Luka is just
Listen,
different, man.
But that's
And
why I
the
told
truth.
you if they go to Game 7, then I like Luka in a Game
Yes,
7 because
and
he's
you
the best
said
player
that,
on the floor.
and you absolutely said that, and no one would think that no one would show up for the Suns. Nobody.
I just know when you're in a Game 7 and your key players aren't showing up, you have to improvise. You have to make changes in your strategy, because either they need to sit down and reevaluate, and you need to give them some time to do that. Because they
I
can't. It's not gonna
I
self-correct itself.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
So go small ball. Get Aiden out of there and let's go small.
So
Well,
look, even
I ain't saying bench him for the whole game.
Yeah,
right,
but what I'm
for a
saying
phase,
is, I get
and
you.
that's what Pat Beverly said. Pat Beverly said you coach the team, not the player.
I get you.
So we
right.
can't make excuses because it's Chris Paul, a future Hall of Famer, or this, that, and the third. We got to look at it like, all right, you ain't giving me absolutely nothing
Right.
on no end of the basketball court. Let's see if we can shake the lineup up and make a run.
Exactly.
That's what good coaching do. You know, good coaching will say, hey, I got to sit my second best player for a period of time to try to win a game. One game, not – I ain't say bench the man for the series or the rest of the playoffs if they win, but I got to win this game or I'm going home.
The only question that I will have to that is when you bench Chris in that situation, who do you put in the game to replace him?
That's what I was about to ask.
And that's the
big,
tough side
that's
of
the
the
That's
big
what I was about to ask.
$1 million question.
That's what I was about to ask too.
Now Pat Beverly, he been talking out the side of his neck. Like, I mean,
Clearly.
he got a problem with Chris or something, but
He do.
it's a lot of players in the league that got a problem with it. So let's take a look at what Matt Barnes had to say.
What I want to touch on real quick, RJ, is the disrespect I saw from Pat Beverly earlier today. You know, as reporters, you know, as part of the media, we have a job to be critical, but I think there's a thin line between being critical and disrespecting. And I feel like what Pat Beverly did today to Chris Paul was completely disrespectful and out of the line. And Pat Beverly's talking like he's that guy. You're not that guy. Plain and simple. Chris Paul played terrible this year, and his numbers are still better than your career numbers have ever been. So I just think you have to understand, Chris is a 12-time All-Star there. He played terrible. First time, or all defense 9 times, 7 times first team all defense. He'll be a Hall of Famer. Pat Bev and I were similar type role players. They don't talk about us when we go. They're going to talk about CP3 when he's done. And I just think the disrespect we saw earlier today on the ESPN show need to be checked because he was way out of pocket.
Thoughts, Guru?
I disagree kind of with Matt Barnes said. I agree to an extent, but when you start saying that because a player is better than you, or because a player has a better career or better resume, or he's a potential Hall of Famer, that you can't say nothing about him, I don't agree with that, because ESPN brought the man on set to give his opinion.
Right.
And that's what we all do sitting behind these microphones, is we give our opinion. So if what Matt Barnes is saying is true, then we shouldn't say nothing about no goddamn body, because ain't none of us played in the NBA or the NFL or no other professional sports to be criticizing. But that's what we all get paid to do,
Right.
is to get behind the microphone and give our opinion based upon what we see.
And
Right.
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like
So that part I disagree with.
Pat Beverly's opinion was his opinion, but I
Right.
feel like it was a little biased.
To a degree.
This is one of the reasons why. Take a look.
I mean, that's as unsportsmanlike as it gets. Patrick Beverly losing control.
He said something. Paul said something to
That
him.
was Pat Beverly being in his feelings, man, because the people had beat the brakes off the Clippers, and he thought he had a chance. So he was in his feelings, man, and a lot of what he said on ESPN came from a place of malice.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing I really disagree with him saying is that Chris Paul is a cone. Nobody's scared of Chris Paul in the NBA, and all that stuff is false. You know what I mean? Like, Chris Paul been
Right.
all defensive team. He's been a defender, man. Tops in the league and steals, et cetera, at the point guard position.
Right.
However, that's your opinion. Now, I did see what Steven Jackson said, and he said, don't nobody take Patrick Beverly serious. Don't nobody take Pat Bev serious. Like, what he's saying is he got a right to his opinion, but we're not taking him serious.
I think people are, though, because it's so many people that, you know, Dame posts what CP do to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's so many people that's posting it and commenting on it. You know, it's to a point where Patrick Beverly went on a main platform, one of the biggest sports platforms out there, and literally gave a perspective from an NBA player. And no matter what anybody else say, for regular fans, you see a player that's saying the NBA knows that this is what's happening. Chris Paul is manipulating the referees, and he doing all the.
Oh yeah, now a lot of that was bullshit.
It's like
A lot of that is bullshit.
people don't really know what happened on the court, but we know Pat Beverly know what happened on the court.
Right.
They say,
You know what I'm saying?
they say the same thing about LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, all of them. All of that is just his
LeBron,
facts.
he
his-
manipulated the refs, for sure.
Right. All of that is his factual. Is just his straight opinion. Right. I agree with him as far as, and the Guru, as far as saying, if we need to sit Chris Paul, let's sit him and see if we can get a different spark. Okay, I'm with it. You asked a great question. With who? Who is the next guy that we feel like we can throw in there to get that spark, right? But all this other stuff that he's talking is based off his emotion. Chris Paul is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's one of the top 5 point guards in the NBA, probably, if you name your top 5.
Right.
Like, seriously. So therefore, a lot of the stuff he was saying was strictly malice altogether.
Right.
There's no question about it.
Right.
So I get what everybody's saying. He's entitled to his opinion. No question about it. A comment he made that kind of had me kind of on the fence was if James Harden was a max player still.
Yeah, that
When he argued that, that's when I was like, that I don't know.
Well,
Because when you think max player, you think that guy that can lead this franchise to the next level. So that's different.
he made a valid point and let's segue to that. He did say James Harden was a max player, but the point that he made is so many other players that if they had the numbers James Harden had, they would be considered max players. I think the reason why we're looking at James Harden and saying he's not a max player is because he's not playing up to James Harden that we know. You know what I'm saying? But he's playing max player as far as his season average and whatever. You know what I'm saying? But the James Harden we know don't shoot twice in the second
We're
half.
not gonna never get that James Harden again.
Right.
That's
And
the
I'm gonna
point
say
making.
this,
That's
that
the point.
Pat Beverly, Chris Paul, nor James Harden is a max player.
Correct.
Pat Beverly would never be
No,
a max
yeah,
player.
Pat Beverly won't be
He would never even be in the conversation.
he gonna
Right.
try to
be
find a
max
contract.
player, you know. So
I still think CP and James Harden can be max players. I don't think James Harden is a super max player.
So you think James Harden is a max player?
I feel like based on his statistical analysis, he is a max player based on his stats. But again,
I'm talking what he can do for the team.
solely based on what we know of him. Right now, he's a victim of his own success because we can see his digress. You know, we can see him digressing because
Correct.
we see him digressing.
Correct.
We don't see it as a max player. But
Correct.
you got players out there that don't got the stats that he got. Let's take hoop example, Trae Young. And I just picked a random name. I don't know what Trae Young stats is.
pick another name because Trae Young
pick
led
another name because
led
he's
the
a
league
he's a
in-
max player. Pick another name.
Trae Young led the league in points and assists, total points and assists this season. So that would make him a max player. So we're gonna choose somebody else.
Okay. Let me see.
Anthony Davis, Lakers.
Nah, don't bring the Lakers in this.
But this is what I'm gonna do. I'm
Because
gonna
that's
do.
what
I
I'm saying.
will say this.
I was about to ask you to name me a max player that you think is a max player.
I'm gonna say
and give me
this.
those numbers.
We can look at James Harden numbers and we're gonna get misled because a lot of those numbers came in Brooklyn at a time where there was no Kyrie and there was a KD that was injured. So he was putting up those numbers. But if you go to
Right.
his numbers in Philly, none of those numbers in Philly were max contract numbers.
Right, but is his contract going to be based on specifically Philly?
It should be because Philly is the ones that you're talking about going to give him the max
Right, but
contract.
I don't think he got enough of a rap sheet in Philly to use Philly as the determining factor.
The reason why I use Philly is because Philly is the team that can offer him that max deal, right? Philly is the team
Philly can
that
offer him a supermax,
but
he's not a supermax player
okay.
at all.
All right, so let's be clear.
You know what I'm saying? But
He could get a 1 year. I think both of these guys, man, are 1 year players from here on out. Like, because
Wow,
you're
that-
not going to get the James Harden of
he
old.
still averaged 22 points a game.
The reason why you're not going to get the James Harden of old because, like I said, they changed the rules with the fouls, and he didn't take care of his body good enough to be in max player shape.
Well, one thing that I saw the moment they changed their rule with the fouls, that's when his digression started.
Yeah, he
Because
can't get to the line 20 times a game.
He was getting about 20 shots from the free throw line a game. You know what I'm saying? So if he getting 15 or 16 of his points from the
It's
line,
not easy to get 30 when you can shoot 17 free throws a game.
Let me ask you this:
Uh-huh.
Do you think that James Harden is the same James Harden as he was in Houston that he is now in Philly?
Nobody thinks that.
no, nowhere near it.
So the Houston one, you can easily
He
say
was a supermax.
You can easily say supermax. We believe in him enough to lead this team to a championship, deep playoff run.
Mhm.
Right. He was the MVP, and,
And-
he was a scoring leader.
Correct. In Philly, he's not even taking the shots. He doesn't even take more
I
shots
think-
than Maxey takes.
I
You
think
know what I'm saying?
it might actually be Philly because for some reason last year didn't the same shit repeat itself.
I don't know about James Harden. I know that the
Right.
people say they spotted him on the street.
Let's take a look.
Do that look like a super max player to you?
Straight up. That is. Oh man. All right, James, get him. All right, so hey, we are down to 4, and then there was 4 in the NBA. We are at the conference final stage, and we got Golden State and Dallas, and then we got Miami and Boston. And listen, it's really intriguing because I feel like at this point you don't know who's going to win. Like
Golden State.
I mean, naturally because Golden State got all the experience.
Not so fast.
But
okay.
I feel like it's going to be a Golden State Miami finals. That's my pick.
I believe that.
That'll be a great finals, actually.
Absolutely.
Because they're both kind of deep.
Right, and they can both shoot.
They can both shoot, so and they both can lock up defensively when they want to.
Hey, but if we were to talk about Golden State, my man Draymond got into it with Kendrick Perkins.
Big Perk.
Big Perk had something to say in the end. Let's take a look at it.
Brutal, but you got a big ogre on TV talking about what Draymond say ain't the gospel. It is the gospel. What I say is the gospel. And, when you say that multiple times, like on several different segments, you must think what I say the gospel. So, you got to come out and shut some guys up sometimes. And I like to show, when you got people out there just talking out the side of their neck, or anybody can make the pass Draymond make. Like, that's just stupid. I mean, these are people who get employed to talk on TV about our game. And, it's anybody can make that pass. You make that pass. We would love to see it. I played against the guy, by the way. I'm talking about Kendrick Perkins, for those of y'all that don't know. I'm never ducking no smoke. As the Memphis Grizzlies towels say, I don't duck smoke. Anybody can make that pass. Like, you couldn't. So, good luck. So, you just got to come out and shut people up sometimes. And it was very fun to do.
Hey, Draymond, man, let me let you in on a little something, man. All that ogre and all that, whatever you say I look like, man, you ain't cute. You ain't handsome. Man, you better thank that NBA logo. You better thank Jerry West. Man, I've been with my wife since the 10th grade. Dime piece. Before the NBA stuff. So don't get it all twisted and all that, whatever you got to say. And at the end of the day, hey, man, look, I can say what the fuck I want to say when I want to say it. And I'm going to say it. I said that you wasn't looking to be aggressive, that you wasn't the Draymond of old. Yeah, you came out there, you handled your business tonight. You did your thing. No knock on that. But thinking I'm going to shut up or thinking whatever. Man, look, man, you can miss me with all that. I lip box and lip wrestle all damn day. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, boy. I don't give a damn about all that shit you talking about, man. You crazy as hell. You think you gonna shut me up? You go play with some of these other cats like that, man. Shit, you got the game fucked up fucking with Big Perk. Straight up. Carry on.
So, Draymond called Big Perk a ogre. he do kind of make you think of Shrek.
Yeah, he do.
You know
He's a funny looking guy, but at the end of the day, you see what Big Perk say, man, you ain't no handsome guy yourself.
Right. He said, my wife a dime piece. Been with her.
Been with her since the 10th grade.
Hey.
Before the money.
I don't know what that means, because in the 10th grade, he was still 6'9", and
she knew you was going to the NBA
exactly.
sooner or later because you was one of the best players in Texas.
Before the money.
He was acting like that she was after him for his looks. Like he could just pull a regular there. I don't know, but you heard all the cursing that he was saying. He went back and changed all of that. You know what I'm saying? But he was, you saw he was pissed. He was pissed, and my man called him a ogre and said he can't pass the ball. Which, I mean, I can't say Draymond was wrong. Draymond was kind of right. You know what I'm saying? But
Perkins got some rings though.
He got some rings, not because of him though.
Draymond got
like,
rings
whoa.
Hey.
Perk helped in some of them.
Bruh, I remember seeing a tweet from, it was from KD. He wasn't on a team that won that. But even then, that tweet that KD said was, Big Perk had said something about KD, and he said, in our center, Kendrick Perkins averaged a whopping 3 points a game, 2 rebounds.
In the damn way.
Easy. He was just a waste of space at that time.
He wasn't, though.
He was.
He was.
And a lot of them don't. And
he played his role.
They got a big perk blooper reel out. If you ever want to see it, just holler at me. I'll send it to you.
They do. But he played his role on those teams. Similar, Anthony Mason.
You just compared the man to Anthony Mason.
Anthony Mason.
I don't know if that's a bad thing or not, because Perk got rings, Anthony Mason don't got one.
Yeah, but Anthony Mason was punching people in the face.
He played his role.
Clothesline, but
he played his role.
Bro, that can't be a role.
It's a tough guy role. Let me tell you this. When Boston beat MVP Kobe Bryant that year in the Lakers, Kobe Bryant out of his own mouth said he was more physical than what we was.
It ain't had nothing to do with no damn Kendrick Perkins.
Kendrick Perkins was a part of that Boston Celtics
we not
team.
gonna act like the people would not have won the championship without Kendrick Perkins. Man, the people had Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce playing in their prime.
Hold up, we don't know.
So
that's like saying wait a minute. That's like saying my Bulls wouldn't have won it without Rodman. I'll never say that. But we won it without Rodman.
Now we comparing Rodman and Perkins.
No, we're not. But what I'm saying is, we won it without Rodman before.
We're gonna stop this guy from drinking on the Bms Sports Podcast. Just come up here talking.
You understand?
Man,
Kendrick Perkins
and Dennis Rodman in the same
sentence.
sentence.
Physicality to that team.
So just to be clear, what you are saying is that they would not have. They needed Kendrick Perkins in order to win.
That's not
hell
what I said.
no.
They won.
If that's not what you're saying,
they won with Kendrick in the starting lineup. He adds a certain type of physicality to the team.
He's a champion.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's going to get us 15, 20, none of that. He adds a certain presence 15, when he's 20. On the floor. He adds that.
Okay, so all right, let's switch up. Let's talk about the Golden State and Dallas series, right? Mm-hmm. Who do you think the pressure's on, Luka or Steph?
Seems like we're going to ask this every series, huh?
Every time.
Series, it was Ja and Steph and now it's Luka and Steph. I'm going to still say it's Luka because Luka, the keys is supposed to be handed to Luka. So it's time to make your presence felt. Like I say, Steph Curry, he already cemented as Steph Curry.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's arguably one of the greatest basketball players we ever seen, and Luka's kind of writing that narrative for himself right now, and this would be a huge step for him to make it to the finals right now with this Dallas team, because it'll put him on that Dirk Nowitzki level, because Dirk took a Dallas team to the finals and won the finals, and nobody thought
the Jet.
Yeah, but hey. He beat a team that had D Wade, LeBron, and Chris Bosh on it. So I don't give a damn how many Jets he had.
Now
he ain't had none of them.
While
that wasn't even the best Dallas team that
what you saying, it makes sense, right? But I have to respectfully disagree. I feel like the pressure's on Steph. And the reason why I feel like the pressure's on Steph, number one, because of their team, right? It's their team, and he has to lead it. Not only that, they have far more experience than the Mavs. So they should win this series. Not to mention, on top of that, Steph has yet to win a finals MVP, let alone, you know what I'm saying? I think that's like the lone accomplishment that he's missing right now. If he get a finals MVP, he's a Hall of Famer anyway, but he's for sure a Hall of Famer that first time he's available when
he's for
retired.
Sure a Hall of Famer first ballot regardless.
Yeah,
man,
you're right.
All-time shooting guard, the two-time
the greatest
MVP.
Ever.
He just won the All-Star MVP for the first time this year,
and he broke that record.
Put up all kind of numbers in the All-Star
17,
game.
3-pointers.
He's Steph Curry, but it was hard for him to get an MVP once you added Kevin Durant.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it was hard for him to get an MVP. Well, I guess.
They just
Iguodala.
gave Iguodala.
They had to get
why they gave Iguodala. They might as well give it LeBron in a losing effort.
What you think, B? Pressure on who?
I agree, man. I think the pressure on Steph, but I agree with you, but I'm gonna tell you why. I think that. So when you're chasing that upper echelon of champions, you chasing Jordan 6, Kobe 5, Magic 5. You know, I think he needs to get another ring to be in that conversation. You know,
and he's
so
that caliber.
I still think that he's chasing rings. We know that Golden State is supposed to win it, be the better team, go to the finals. We know that. But as far as his legacy and what he's chasing rings. You know, so if you want to sit at that table with those individuals that have won this many championships, right? And I know y'all say the MVP and all of those type things, but just getting to that level of how many championships you win, I think the pressure's on him. I think Luka, man, is set for the rest. Man, I think Dallas
can't say that.
good.
We don't think. I don't know if Luka ever make it back to the Western Conference Finals.
He probably won't.
I definitely
don't know that.
I definitely believe he will, though.
We don't know that because this team is not.
He barely made it to the conference
finals team.
What I'm saying is this team is not.
And according to campaign, if the Suns weren't as banged up as they was, they wouldn't have made it this year.
Campaign changed the game.
Campaign on the one cent, but if it went to games, it went to game 7. But what I'm saying is this: these are the faces of the league coming up. Luka, Ja, Trae Young, all of these people. So Steph right now, and then on top of that, I heard you say this a couple episodes ago, Guru. But as far as Kevin Durant, him being able to get another one without Durant, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think more pressure is on him to prove that.
Well,
you know.
Well, I'm gonna say this one time, right? Because before Steph won championships, before he won the one without Kevin Durant, right? There was a lot of talk about teams could not win the championship probably since Isaiah Thomas, with your best player being the smallest player on the court, right? So
correct.
that automatically eliminates him from that conversation of the Jordans and the Kobes and those type of players, because those players were 6'6", 6'7". You know what I mean? 6'5" and better. Steph is what? 6'2", 6'3" at the most, and I believe they might be stretching that, right? So can you imagine if he was 6'7"?
Man, and listen, Steph really be running around.
If
the
he
court.
was as big as Luka Doncic. You know what I mean? Like, so Luka is in that mold of those Michael Jordans, Kobe Bryants, of that build, of that size. So we look for those guys to be able to lead teams to the champion. You don't look for a guy like Steph Curry to be able to be the best player on a championship team, right? That's why I'm glad he did win the one without KD, because once you added KD, it kind of took away from him being arguably the best player on that team.
Right.
You know, so it would be big for him to win this championship. I don't think he needs it to stamp his legacy.
Well, not to stamp his legacy, but I think the pressure is more on him as far as what he has. Like, his team is just a better team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so they should win this game. If they lose to, can you imagine what happens if they lose to Luka?
Is he at that table with Jordan, Kobe?
No, because like I say,
that's not an easy table to be at.
No, but I'm saying,
like I say,
with another
he's a
championship,
point guard.
he's definitely, and even throwing LeBron. LeBron got 4, right? Is he at that conversation?
If he
with
win
another
this
championship,
if he win this year,
right,
without another super duper star like KD, and I think in order for him to be put at that table, he got to win the Finals MVP.
Okay.
And so if he win this year and he get a Finals MVP, then
you have to put him at that table. You got to put him at that table.
I think he's already at that table because, like I say, he's the point guard and he's the smallest player on the court and he's the best player on the court. And he has 3 championships.
He wasn't the best player on the court in 2 of those championships.
I agree.
And he hasn't been considered the best player on the court in any of the championships when you base it off of his accolade. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like at some point, while his presence is substantial, he need to be the best player on the court in order for to put him at that table. Because you can't put him at the table with a bunch of best players on the court.
Even if the year that they won it without KD, he still had Clay, and they was the Splash Brothers.
Right, and Iguodala won the MVP.
But
so
hold on. Let's clarify a little something. Steph Curry made Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and them guys better. He made them guys relevant in the NBA.
No argument with that. But wait a minute.
I think they made themselves relevant.
No. As far as Draymond,
I mean, they all play their role.
Clay, I disagree.
Without Steph, none of that goes.
So Clay don't average whatever he averages without Steph.
No.
I feel like
I disagree because he can get his shot.
It's not a without Steph because I feel like a big part of that is the system.
The system is the greatest. The system is the greatest part of it because the system is what makes all of that go.
Mm-hmm.
Because Klay Thompson really can't get his shot off. He's not a shot creator, right?
Right.
He's more of a spot up shooter, and they both work well off the ball. You know what I mean?
I got you.
That's why it's easier for them to get their shots off with Draymond Green handling the ball versus Stephen Curry handling the ball.
Gotcha.
Because we are all moving,
I agree.
right?
I agree.
Now if I take Steph out the lineup and I don't have to worry about that limitless range, then shit is easier to defend them.
They have won games without Steph in the lineup though.
So all right, let's segue. Kyrie indicated that he regrets the way him and LeBron separated from the Cavs. He actually said, quote, "If I was in the same maturity line now and understanding of who I am, we definitely would have won more championships." And I completely disagree with that shit. They barely won the championship that they won, let alone winning more.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. Kyrie needs somewhere to go right now, so he might end up being in L.A., and I don't mind it. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, but, you know, Phil Jackson lobbying to have LeBron traded and build around Russ. What you think about that, Guru?
About what Phil Jackson said?
Yeah.
I mean, if you rewind the tapes, I kind of said the same thing on a few episodes ago. I
knew it sounded familiar.
I would get rid of LeBron because he holds more value than Russ, and I could bring in more pieces by moving LeBron than I can by moving Russ because Russ trade value is limited right now.
LeBron time is coming to an end.
Absolutely.
I agree, but I will tell you what. We're talking L.A. We're talking Showtime. We're talking selling tickets. This Hollywood, guys. So it's the Lake Show. And LeBron is the Lake Show, not Russ.
Listen.
I agree with y'all saying moving him gets us more pieces.
The Lake Show don't win championships.
Listen to what I'm telling you.
This ain't no damn Lake Show.
Listen to me. Hey, listen.
This is a borderline shit show.
So I'm with you as far as that, but let's be real for a second. If the Lakers are healthy, right, they are in the playoffs.
The Lakers are old.
Listen to what I'm telling you. If the Lakers are healthy, though, they're in the playoffs with the Melo, with the LeBron.
We don't know that.
With the Anthony Davis. I'm telling you, we don't
These
got to know that.
old.
I'm telling
they
you
old.
now. Listen, with the new NBA, with the play-in and everything, they're in. I'm telling you that now. They're in. They wasn't banking on AD being
they
what
really
they call
wasn't
them?
that good when they always
to the
in the
point
lineup
where
together.
They won the championship in the bubble.
playoffs
What do they call
wouldn't be
AD?
enough.
What they call him? What they call AD?
Anthony Davis?
No, they don't. They call him something
Street
else.
clothes.
Street clothes. They call him street clothes.
Damn, they call them street clothes.
Listen to what I'm telling you. They put all of their eggs in the basket of AD being healthy, us having Melo.
That's
LeBron,
why I say if you
listen,
keep
LeBron was hurt. He was hurt multiple games.
That's why you need to move him.
I'm not disagreeing. You can get a lot of pieces by moving them, but what I'm saying is you're not going to get the same star power.
Why you want? If you got Russell Westbrook and you got Anthony Davis.
I'm moving Russ.
And then you
I'm
add
move
up.
Russ. I'm move Russ.
Ain't no way because you're going to get more pieces. If you can bring one or two valuable pieces to go with Russ and AD, you got a much better team than you got moving Russ, keeping LeBron, and the rest of that old ass shit and not getting nothing in return.
This is what they said move. And if they move it, the Lakers are back in contention. Trade Russ to the Suns for Chris Paul. The Lakers
Get the fuck out of here,
Listen,
bro. Like,
stop.
You're trying to make us
Did
older.
you just see the resume of Chris Paul in Game 7 and Chris Paul playoff resume? Not to mention,
what did the Suns? What was the Suns?
Chris Paul is the only player in NBA history to blow 5-2-0 leads.
That's not on him alone. The Suns.
So you think Russell Westbrook what seed Chris Paul Suns, makes them a
guys,
championship
what
contender?
seed were the Suns?
Number one.
Number one.
And you
they
think
were the
that's
number one seed? Hold up, guys. The Suns were the number 1 seed. Okay,
Mhm.
so listen to me. Chris Paul can afford to 10. Give me 10. We know what Bron gonna do. We know what the hell the AD gonna do, right? So think about that for a second.
You seen AD fully healthy for a whole season?
That's the problem.
But that's what I'm saying.
Chris
to
Paul
you.
been battling injuries all season. LeBron been battling injuries. Why would you want to get older?
The only person that ain't been battling injuries is
better.
Russell Westbrook.
So even the thing is, a lot of people don't play good with Russell Westbrook.
Listen.
A lot of people don't.
Listen. A lot of people don't, but you find the people that do.
Why did
That's the
Russell
whole
Westbrook
point.
not make it in Washington?
They
What
went
you
to the
mean?
playoffs.
They went to the playoffs because of him.
It's not hard to do in the East.
but-
why did it not work?
The East is not easy no more.
But Russell Westbrook didn't have no help in Washington besides Bradley Beal, for real, bro. Let's be realistic. Like, that team in OKC where he was the MVP, they was garbage without Russell Westbrook. We take Russell Westbrook off that team, bro, they don't win 13, 14 games.
He is an on-ball.
They was a playoff
He's an
team.
on-ball guard.
So was LeBron.
Dominant of the ball. I agree.
No, he's
Chris Paul is not.
really not dominant of the basketball because he led the league in assists. He was a triple-double king.
With the ball in his
Time
hand.
and time
With the-
again.
with
But
the
that's
ball
what
in
you
his hand.
want
With
from
the
your
ball in
point
his hand.
guard because he make players better.
With the ball in his hand.
Before you can continue,
Go ahead.
let's take a break.
Okay.
So coming up, we got some Drew Brees
All right.
details. We got some Antonio Brown. We got some boxing. We still got overrated, underrated boxing edition, and then we got the Guru's pick of the day. Bms Sports will be back. Welcome back to the Bms Sports Podcast. We are coming at you live and direct once again from Norfolk, Virginia. I'm the host, Avery Fuller, with my co-host, Stephen Trotman Bay, but you know him as
The Guru.
And our special but guest on the podcast today is my man, B. Trotman.
Absolutely.
And let's get it going. So Antonio Brown, he indicated that he want to retire from the NFL as a Pittsburgh Steeler. And B, I want to know, do you think the Steelers should even offer that opportunity to him to retire as a Steeler, specifically based on the way he left?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, sure. It's a lot of players that leave bad terms, bad blood, but want to go back to the team that gave them the shot, that made them the superstar that they was. So, yeah, honor it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He made it clear now. He indicated that he don't want to play for them. He just want to retire from them. And in the same instance, he's not preparing to retire. So what he's pretty much saying is, I'm going to play for whatever team pick me up for these next couple of years, but then when I'm done, I want the Pittsburgh Steelers to retire me.
I'm not 100% sure no team is going to pick him up. You ever seen a dude that want to ask the best girl out in the school, but he don't want to because he's like, nah, I'm going to ask her out, but she don't want me anyway. So no team is going to pick him up, man. I very seriously doubt it. So he's just saying that if he could get a job with the Steelers, man, of course he'll go back and get a contract with the Steelers. Why would he not, man? It's a perfect situation.
Yeah.
They need wide receivers. He still plays the game at a decent level, but his off the field antics don't add up no more to his on the field antics, and that's just what it is.
I think that's my thing. Like,
yeah.
if I'm the Steelers, do I want to be attached to him that way?
Of course they do.
Forever.
Of course they do. He still done great for that franchise. He still put up numbers for that franchise. He still was a superstar within that franchise. There's no question about it.
I just don't know. Like, maybe it's me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm a person, and I don't hold grudges. You know what I'm saying? But my biggest thing is, like, you want respect, but you didn't give us respect. You know what I'm saying? And for me to go out my way to give you what you want, and you pretty much left us high and dry as if we did something to you, you know, it's like...
Not really, man. He just wanted more money. There's a lot of guys in this league that just want more money.
Right. And
so they go
it's a business, so
get more money.
it makes perfect sense, but still, regardless, it's still a business. Like I just said, and from a business perspective, bro, I ain't got to provide that opportunity for
You don't, but what he did for their franchise,
What about what the franchise did for him?
Both ways, both ways. But, I believe they will, man. They will allow him to.
It's sad, man, because my man went to multiple teams and performed. I mean, the only one he didn't perform at is Oakland, because I don't even think my man got on the field.
Oakland jank was a disaster.
But or now Vegas, but
Vegas,
it's really odd that he put himself in this position, and now he's trying to dictate the terms of his retirement and other teams.
Right.
If I'm Pittsburgh, I tell him to go to hell. Personally, but that's just me, because bro, I don't want to be attached to you at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, we gave you the opportunity,
right?
And you capitalized on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if you go, I got a good question for you, real quick.
All right.
Is Antonio Brown a Hall of Famer?
I'm only laughing. I'm only laughing at this because of a statement you made before about Edelman, but numbers wise, absolutely. But I go back to a lot of what you and Guru say on this show about what's the actual criteria to get in.
Mm-hmm.
If you say Edelman is, then definitely he's a first ballot without question, Hall of Famer by his numbers. Yeah, man, I believe his numbers is no question. I believe he is a Hall of Famer. What I will say is this: I think a lot of the suspensions, a lot of the antics that he's done throughout the years may not make him a first ballot Hall of Famer, though. And I agree with that. I think he actually has probably. Well, let me ask you this: Has he done more antics than a T.O.?
Oh, he definitely exceeded T.O.
Then he definitely won't be no first ballot Hall of Famer, then for sure. Because T.O. numbers is way better. What? I'm not gonna say way better. We got to stat check it, but I believe they are way better than Antonio
I just feel like that teams should consider certain things when it comes down to the Hall of Fame, right? And while we talk about the on the field game plan and how teams play on the field and whatnot, I get it, but I feel like that's a part of the game too. You know what I'm saying? Like Antonio Brown left the field in the middle of the game, and he, I get it. Coach told him to get off the field because he won't go in the game or whatever. But shouldn't the type of teammate you are play a role in a team sport and whether or not you're a Hall of Famer? Because at the end of the day, while we speak from an individual perspective, it's more than just stats.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm asking, what actually gets you into the Hall?
Right.
It's just stats, right?
I don't think it's just stats.
Why?
That's why T.O. won the first ballot Hall of Fame. Think about that.
No. But what I'm asking is, should it be just your statistical numbers on the field?
No. Because
so it should be everything else?
You're a player. And a part of being a player is being a teammate. A part of being a player is being coachable. A part of being a player is contributing to the game in a way that does not hurt the game.
Doesn't they do that when they get in between the lines? I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna switch sports for a second. During the middle of the finals, Dennis Rodman decided to go to WWF and miss practice. He got fined, but he didn't get benched. They knew what he bought when he got between the lines, right? Dennis Rodman made the NBA Hall of Fame. Okay. Should we be judging these players for off the field antics and not their numbers? As far as the curriculum, as far as being a Hall of Famer.
So keep this in mind. Why do we judge them based on their stats? Because it's based on how they affect the game.
Correct. The game.
Right.
Only the game.
Right.
That's right.
But if they off the field antics is affecting the game, the on the field game, shouldn't that matter?
If it affects their on the field play, but does it?
It's not about their on the field play. It's about the game. because it's about the impact on the game. Listen. Everybody's gonna play, but if you are the reason your team lost, that's impacting the game. If you are the reason why your team didn't make the playoffs, that's impacting the game.
That's a great point. So when the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, T.O., all this off the field antics, right? What did he focus on? Who did he say was throwing up and didn't show up to play in that game? It wasn't him. It was McNabb. So my point being is these guys that got all of this baggage off the field, it's not leading to the on the field performance of these guys. They're coming to play ball when the lights is bright.
Right. But sometimes, like you mentioned with Dennis Rodman, if they lost that game,
they didn't.
You know what
I'm
I'm
a
saying?
Bulls fan. They didn't.
And right, they didn't. But if they did, and it caused them to not go to the playoffs, that would be a problem, right?
We had Jordan. It was the finals.
Of course.
You know.
But we ain't talking about that. We talking about if Dennis Rodman missed the game and went to WWE
Correct.
or WWF,
Right.
And then they lost the game because of that and didn't go to the playoffs. That means he completely impacted the game from his presence of not being there
Correct.
on purpose.
Correct. And out of his own mouth, he said, I needed to blow off steam. When the game is on, I'm on. And he was on.
And he can't blow off
That's
steam.
my point. So this is my
he
question.
Can't blow off steam when the
no,
game
no.
over?
So this is my question to you. Judge me. What's the criteria? Judge me by my on-the-field performance.
It's judging you how you
not
impact
my
the game.
off-the-field performance.
Listen. If off the field you impact the on-the-field game, that should be included in that.
Yes. If your numbers decline, yes.
It ain't
Absolutely.
Listen, it's not all about numbers, is what I'm saying. It's about what type of teammate you are.
I agree with you.
On the field.
I 100% agree with you. My point is, what is the criteria to get me in the hall?
Okay, so
that's my question.
What you pretty much saying is, this is going to be controversial. What
Right.
you pretty much saying is, when it come down to the Hall of Fame,
Right.
for basketball, football, whatever,
right.
they should just shut up and dribble.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my
100%.
gosh. Okay.
100%. It's all about numbers. That's 100% correct.
I don't feel
That's
like
that.
the Hall
Listen
of
to this.
Fame-
Hold
We're
on.
talking
Listen.
about the Hall of Fame.
Listen to this.
The best of the best.
Correct. And it's all about numbers. It's all about numbers and what you meant to your team as far as wins, losses, whatever the case may be. That's what it boils down to. Let me ask you a question. Warren Moon, Hall of Famer, right? He is. Correct? He is a Hall of Famer, right? Stat check me. But he is, ain't he?
I think he is.
Okay. I don't think he never won no Super Bowl. Statistic-wise, he's great. 100%. Never won a Super Bowl, though. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Dan Marino, Hall of Famer. No Super Bowl. Right?
You naming solid players on the field and teammates.
What I'm saying to you is I'm naming guys who statistically have done what they needed to do on the field.
You also naming guys that did not negatively impact the team on the field.
Ray Lewis, Hall of Famer, right?
Okay, they won because of Ray Lewis.
No.
It's a difference.
No, wait a minute. So they didn't win because of Dan Marino? They didn't win because of Warren Moon?
Well, they
Of course they did.
They lost because of them because they ain't win.
Oh, wait a minute now. They won because of those two guys.
Warren Moon or Dan Marino didn't win. So
wait a minute. Wait a minute. So this the thing. I'm named Ray Lewis because he won a Super Bowl, so he won the ultimate.
he won multiple Super Bowls.
Multiple Super Bowls. So we can say, look at his numbers. He won Super Bowls, he this, he that. Statistical wise, whether he won or not, he's still a Hall of Famer though. Regardless. By statistics alone, he's a Hall of Famer.
Well, you better believe that them 2 Super Bowls is counted and calculated in his Hall of Famership.
So Dan Marino's a Hall of Famer. Why is he there?
Because
statistics, right?
At the time he was a Hall of Famer, he was probably the biggest quarterback in the league. Or he had the most passing yards in history. He had records.
So
it's a difference.
So statistical wise is what we judging on.
Okay, so let's switch gears. And one thing that I noticed in the news, I'm gonna use Drew Brees posted that he pretty much might not be coming back to NBC and that he might be coming back to the NFL. What happens if the Saints get Drew Brees?
Man, if the Saints get Drew Brees back, man, they right back to one of the top teams in the NFC for sure, man. And on top of that, a year off, as far as body wise, man, would probably do great for him.
You think that Drew Brees gonna come back and just continue where he left?
I wouldn't if I was him, but if he did, he would have a year off, and he's an elite quarterback, man. So he'll pick up where he left off for sure.
I think he need to go ahead and just stay off the field.
I agree, though.
Like
I agree.
I think he'll cause more harm than good, personally. I feel like that. Don't get me wrong. When he left, he was good, but I feel like he will impact his legacy coming back to that game and not being able to bring to the table what he brought before he left.
I'm Florida State Jameis Winston all the way. So let's go Jameis. But you can't tell me that you wouldn't take Drew Brees right now.
If I got Jameis
Winston.
If I got
right
Jameis
this
Winston,
minute,
of course.
You can't tell me you taking.
I'll take Jimmy Garoppolo over Jameis Winston.
me too. Jimmy G a winner, man. I keep saying that. But what I'm saying to you is you would take Drew Brees over Jameis Winston this minute.
I would probably take Jalen Hurts.
We see.
I'll take all types of people.
I ain't taking no Jalen Hurts over. But we have seen quarterbacks as they got older. Brett Favre, quarterbacks, even Joe Montana going to the Chiefs. We've seen those type of quarterbacks still be able to, move a team forward. So I wouldn't do it if I was him, but if he did, it definitely would make the Saints better than with Jameis Winston for sure.
Gotcha. All right, so we got I got 6 wired outs right now. The top 6 receivers in the league that is under the age of 25. That is going to include Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, A.J. Brown, C.D. Lamb, Jalen Waddle, and Marquise Brown. You're a Cowboys fan, but who do you think is at the top of that list? Let's see how realistic these Cowboys fans are.
You said Justin
Jefferson, Jamar Chase, A.J. Brown, C.D. Lamb, Jalen Waddle, and Marquise Brown.
I love Jamar Chase, but I got to go Jefferson only because he's done it longer than Jamar Chase.
Okay, that's a good pick, and I won't say I disagree with you, but I will go a different route.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I would say C.D. Lamb.
What? You would?
I would say
please talk to me.
Lamb.
Yeah.
So what I learned about C.D. Lamb is that I've watched many games where he is the person that came through in the clutch, right? C.D. Lamb, he has yet to be the number 1 receiver.
That's correct.
In the event that he is the number 1 receiver and he's getting majority of the targets, I feel like he'll be a Pro Bowler easily. Justin Jefferson was in a position where he's the number 1 receiver, even though they had.
He's not the number 1 receiver though, and that's why I said Jefferson. Thielen is actually the number 1.
Thielen is the number 2 in my opinion. I feel like Justin Jefferson is the go-to.
For Jefferson to put up the numbers that he has put up,
Thielen got to be
Thielen puts up numbers too. But for them to be able, for Dalvin Cook to put up numbers too, and I'm talking in and out of the lineup. I'm talking about Dalvin Cook, is hurt. He gets banged up a lot. So for them to have a running game that they have and him still put up numbers that he put up with Thielen, that's why I would choose Jefferson. But I tell you what, man, Jamar Chase, man, I'm going to tell you.
Jamar Chase is – listen, if he can repeat what he did last year, then it won't be considered a fluke. Right now, I say it as a fluke.
But C.D. Lamb will be the number 1 receiver this year, and it's his time. So that's for sure.
Yeah, as long as Dak Prescott don't play like he's scared. But that's another story for another day. Jair Alexander has become the highest paid cornerback in the NFL. You think he deserves it?
Absolutely. Name me a better one. Name me a better corner than him.
I don't think he deserved to be the highest.
Jalen
Ramsey is better than him. If that's the case,
Jalen Ramsey already signed his deal. So
right, but I'm just saying he should not have gotten the highest. Tyrann Mathieu is
a safety.
Okay, he a defensive back.
He's a safety.
That's what I'm gonna call
Name
him.
me another corner better than him besides
J.C.
Ramsey.
Jackson.
Besides Ramsey. Stop. Knock it off. No, he's not. I disagree with that. So here we go. And watch when I tell you this. If Deion finishes with 2 interceptions, Deion Sanders, right? Does that mean he's not the best corner in the league because of his interceptions? Or does that mean quarterbacks are not
he's
throwing
a coverage
his side?
corner.
Or does that mean no, he's not. No, he's not.
So Deion's not a coverage corner.
Richard Sherman is a coverage corner.
So Deion is not a coverage corner. That's what I'm asking.
He's man-to-man. Man-to-man corner. He's not like a no. What you mean coverage as far as inner coverage?
I'm listen, Brett. All I know is teams won't go on the Deion side for a reason.
Yeah,
it was based on his coverage.
I'm not throwing at him.
Because of his coverage.
Yeah, I ain't throwing at him.
Right. So he's a coverage corner, right?
At that time, I don't know if Deion traveled or not. I'm not sure if he traveled. Took the best receiver out, but I know he checked rights a whole lot and the best receivers, so I know that. Not sure if he flip-flopped sides and went with your best and took your best out.
All I know is it don't matter who he guarding, they not throwing it that way.
Correct. I agree with that part. We limited our targets
and
that way.
That's coverage based though, right? Whatever side I cover.
Alexander don't get a lot of targets thrown his side. He doesn't.
Right, but
he don't.
Even then, you still feel like he deserves to be the highest paid cornerback in the NFL. The highest paid.
I don't disagree with it. I think he's one of the top corners for sure. Definitely. I agree with that. Yes. Yes, I do.
I mean, listen, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe he should be the highest paid, but he should get his money. Not the highest paid.
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying?
He's in your top 3, isn't he?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
I just don't feel like that should put him over everybody else. Like this is why people like Debo want to get traded. Because people who don't deserve as much as they getting is getting as much as they getting. And now because they getting it, you like, well, I want it.
I disagree
Why
with that.
should they get it and I don't get it and I'm better than them?
I disagree with that. I think Debo deserves it for what he does
Debo
he does with his team.
Debo is a wide receiver, right?
He deserves it based off what he does for his team.
Listen,
that's why he deserves it.
Debo won it based on so you feel like he deserves based on what he does for his team, but
absolutely
he don't want to do
absolutely
what he's been doing for the team. He don't want to be a running back. He just want to get paid.
He just
want to be a wide receiver.
He's just talking. Yes, he is. Hey, listen to me. So what Brown does, Debo does more than what he does. Facts, 100%. If Brown gets $100 million, you easily got to get Debo that because you can put him in the backfield and he's a problem back there. He reminds me of what Florida did with Percy when he don't
want to do it. That's why he's
going to do whatever they ask him to do.
Process.
He's going to do whatever they ask him to do. He just wants more money. He's going to do whatever they ask him to do.
All right, so James Blackberry got released by the New York Giants and then turned around and signed a 1-year deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. Do you think Blackberry did that on purpose?
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely think that. He had 3 other offers. They don't say what exactly money-wise what they was, but absolutely. I think he signed with the Eagles so he can stick it to the Giants twice a year. Absolutely.
I mean, maybe I guess that'll make sense, but I would be looking more so for longevity. You know what I'm saying?
They only signed him to a 1-year deal.
Right, exactly. That's why I probably wouldn't have took that.
No, he went to the Eagles so he can stick it to the Giants. That's what he did it for.
That's the problem. Now he gonna go to the Eagles. The Eagles gonna put together that bullshit that they got.
Clearly.
And then his shit gonna decline. And in the process of his shit declining, he gonna get another 1-year deal. That's not gonna pay him.
Listen to me. Listen to what I tell you this. I want it to decline because I'm a Cowboy fan, but let's be real. Dude is a problem. I'm going to tell you that now.
I ain't going to say he a problem.
Hey, listen
All
here.
I'm going to say is.
Listen to what I'm telling you. Yes, he is. The Giants didn't want to pay him $13.5 million for whatever reason. They probably couldn't pay him. But they should have paid him. You're going to see that because dude is the best defensive back on their team, and then immediately comes to the Eagles and is one of the best defensive backs on their team.
Because both teams ain't got no damn defensive backs. Like, if you got he did it on purpose. He went to a team with a shit defensive backfield,
Right.
And
Then he should have came to us. He should have came to the Cowboys, goddamn, and the guy opposite the did.
They would have signed him to a 6-month deal.
Man, hey, man, come on to us, man. Goddamn.
Man, listen, all I know is shout out to the Eagles. They happy as hell right now. It's
They
Christmas
building.
in
They are
Philly.
building. They got the money. They building.
Until the season starts.
Until the season starts.
Then they
That's
gonna start
correct.
saying,
They
hold
building.
up, wait a minute.
Right.
Y'all thought I was finished? Go to fucking sleep.
They gonna be like your
So-
boy for the Suns, blaming it on all these type of injuries and stuff.
Oh.
Man. That's what it is.
All right, so last week Jerry Judy was arrested for some domestic stuff, and that type of stuff is in the news and everything. But it's starting to be normal amongst NFL players, and I'm starting to feel like that something has to happen because there's so many different instances where these NFL players, and while they're human, they are making the same mistakes that they can avoid, that they are seeing other players make. And it's making me feel like it may have something to do with not necessarily CTE, but some type of mental health. You know what I'm saying? As a mental health professional yourself, what do you think can take place for these players to help them in this process?
So, I don't want to directly blame mental health for it.
It's not a blame. It's just
what
option.
I will say is this though, because this is a part of a psychological process.
Mhm.
When you come from nothing, right, and you're given multi-million-dollars at one time, and you're young, that is a lot to handle at one time.
Okay.
And it gets a lot of them in trouble. You know,
Big time.
with a lot of different things. So not as far as mental health, as far as that, but definitely mentally, as far as the understanding of, I went from basically rags to riches overnight.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you see a lot of them jump on the commissioner doing draft night and hug them and all this stuff, because their lives have changed. So when you get a lot of these young guys, man, and they're in this type of situation, it definitely changes their mindset. You know,
So
and
if-
it helps them make decisions that's not as.
If the
as
NFL
good.
came to you, what would you suggest? How do you address the issue, and what steps do you take to help these young players that maybe not that don't have a clear understanding
Right.
of the ramifications of their actions?
That rookie symposium that they do, where you have guys that talk to them and give them knowledge and tutoring as far as things not to do and what to do, that's a good thing as well. But also having programs in place, man, to actually deal with things that they could face. You know,
Mm-hmm.
You said Judy, but even like a Ruggs, right? As far as if you go out, Uber, you know, get a limo, do those type of things. Don't try to do this on your own, and whatever the case may be. I think programs like that will help them out a lot. Financial programs will help them out a lot as well. You know what I'm saying? You got to think like this, man. These guys 22, 23 years old, and like I said, man, they going from nothing to multi-millionaires overnight.
See, that's where I would manage their motivations, right? And when I say that, I'll say it in the sense of, right now these players, they getting paid on a per game basis, and NFL right now is what, 18 games
Right.
out of 17 games. So out of
17
17 games,
So
if I got a $20 million contract, I'm getting paid at a minimum $1.5 million a game.
$1 million, yeah.
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
Right.
So I would manage those motivations where I say, all right, for the first year, your contract is $20 million, but you're gonna be allotted to $10 million of that. You know what I'm saying? And then your performance on and off the field is going to determine if you get the other $10 million. I feel like that'll be a motivational factor that'll have them focused on making sure they do what they need to do to get the rest of their money. Because at the end of the day, the moment Jared Judy got arrested, it made the Broncos look bad. And in the event that Jared Judy go to jail or whatever, he already got his money. You know, I think there has to be accountability and there has to be a standard set. And if these guys aren't meeting it, you know what I'm saying? They're supposed to be professionals. And the one thing that separate amateurs from professional is the way in which they behave and the level in which they play. And
your idea would work, but it wouldn't because these guys sign contracts. And a lot of these
that'll be a part of the contract.
What I'm saying is this. To sign a contract based off, that's more like a incentive-based contract. You know what I'm saying? So for me to sign a contract and then say if I do good or I act good or I act accordingly, then I get the other part of my money that I'm due is a whole different thing. I don't think it's that. I think if you give a 20, 21-year-old, 22-year-old $1 million, immediately they're going to act different. So I'm not basing it off the money part as much as I'm basing it off the immediate power and immediate, you know, that feeling that it gives you to be able to have this amount of money. You know what I'm saying? And I think it needs to be more things in place along with the rookie symposium and things of that nature, more real life things. I seen a girl in the rookie symposium come up and, you know, kind of talk to the guys about how to watch gold diggers and this, that, and the third. You talking about that girl,
Brittany Griner?
Huh?
No, not Brittany
Griner. No. But yeah, absolutely. You know the one I'm talking about.
The whole jank.
Correct. Absolutely. I think those type stories will resonate more to those guys than, you know, anything else. I just think it's young guys with a lot of money at one time, and it could cause a lot of problems, you know. But it doesn't have to, you know. But it just all depends on what they focus on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, absolutely.
Well, all right. Let's take another break. Let's take a break, and we got some boxing coming up, and we got overrated and underrated, and then we got the Guru's picks of the day. So, Bms Sports, we'll be back. Welcome back to the Bms Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Avery Fuller, coming at you live and direct from Norfolk, Virginia, sitting with my co-host, Stephen Trotman Bay, a.k.a.
The Guru.
And we still sitting here today with my man, B. Trotman of Cares.
B. Trotman.
Yes, sir. And
Trotman had 1 2 minutes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2 minutes. Let's go to boxing. Listen, I was watching some boxing over the weekend, and this dude Scrappy Ramirez, he well, I'm gonna let you see it for yourself.
Good uppercut. Soto Ramirez, a big fan of Scrappy as he lands a right hand. Oh, and he just knocked him out of the ring. Oh my word! What a shot from John Ramirez! It was a right hook. He was out before he even hit the canvas. They're still counting. Scrappy's out. It's over. One of the knockouts of the year.
Knocked my man out the ring.
He was dead.
Did you see how he was asleep, was still holding his face? Like he was being tucked in.
He needed a support system. He needs some milk. Bruh, it is over. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's a knockout of the year, in my opinion. If a nigga, excuse my French, if a person punch you out the ring in a boxing match when you are a trained fighter,
he kind of went under the ropes, though, and kind of slid up out of there.
He was knocked out.
Yeah, he was. But that won't the knockout of the year.
He couldn't stop himself. And
that Tank Davis uppercut where he looked like he threw that jump from Baltimore to wherever they were fighting at.
That was 2021, though.
Oh yeah, it was 2021.
Yeah, that was
2021.
My man dropped to the other boxing news. We got Jermell Charlo. Congrats to him. He is the undisputed super middleweight champion. And is it super middleweight? It's probably super middleweight. Yeah, we're gonna just run with that. Let's take a look at what happened on his card.
That was a hell of a fight.
Jermell followed by an uppercut. to Castaño, though. Connected on the left hook of his own. And there's a left hand that puts Castaño down. And Castaño is stumbling. Can he make it to his feet? He's trying to get his balance together. Jerry Cantu wants him to come forward. He lets him know he's ready. The first big moment of the fight, Jermell puts Castaño down yet again. It might be over. Castaño can't get to his feet, and it is all over. Jermell Charlo is your next undisputed king of boxing, just like that.
They was fighting. They was throwing
Stano
good
was
too.
getting them good wreck too,
Right.
all the way through the fight, and I really expected that after the first one.
And that delayed knockdown, it was like, bruh, what was happening that caused the delay?
That body blow.
Body shot.
And then he just finished him off. Bye-bye. Boom.
Yeah, after that delayed knockout, I think the referee should have stopped the fight because he could see when he got up, he was a little wobbly.
Yeah.
And
Boom.
you could tell that he was not going to be defensive at all for the remainder of the fight.
And that kidney shot or liver shot, it was one of them players. I ain't no doctor, but it was one of them. And bruh, I tell you, it looked like it hurt. But once again, Jermell Charlo, he made it clear who he is. He made his presence felt. Last fight was a draw. This fight was no question. He didn't leave it in the hands of the judges. He made his presence felt. And I can tell you, it was an excellent fight. I enjoyed every second of it. And I look forward to the next one. I'm definitely looking forward to his brother fighting. His brother is what I consider a knockout artist, even though he hasn't knocked out anybody in his last couple fights. But the Charlo twins is probably topping the division. Well, no, I'm not even gonna say topping the division. I would like to see Jamal Charlo fight Canelo. I feel like that'll define not define his career, but that would change the process of his career. Even if he lose by a split decision, it'll be substantial to his career. It has to happen. I feel like Canelo is the top of that division, and if he can fight and make it a good fight, it'll definitely put a lot on his legacy.
So you don't think Canelo gonna stay up?
No.
Come back down?
No, he gonna come back down. He gonna have to because he got mandatories that he's gonna have to meet. Because again, he's moving up to try to collect belts, but he still got belts, and those other weight classes he got belts in. He gonna have to, manage those people. The problem with him is he's gonna still have to lose weight, but I don't think he's gonna have that problem because I think he fight even at light heavyweight at his natural weight. You know what I'm saying? Like he bulk up to a degree, but he carry his weight the way he's supposed to. All right, so this week we are doing overrated, underrated, and it is what we call the boxing addiction. Let me say that again. It's what we call the boxing edition. Blame it on Booker T and Lake Taylor and all them other schools.
Northie.
I went
to every Norfolk high school.
It's terrible. All right, so first and foremost, the first person on the table, overrated and underrated. I'm going to start with you, B. Deontay Wilder. Overrated or underrated? Overrated. Guru?
Highly overrated. Man's a bum.
Listen, I don't
we
think
know that's your
a bum.
favorite boxer, man. The man's trash. Listen, can't box. He's just a brawler who can knock people out.
So reality
Should've
is
been a UFC fighter.
I feel like it's one of those things where he's a knockout artist and that's his primary skill set. He's only lost 2 fights to the same person, and
That's his only skill set.
and drew one. You know what I'm saying? But
And the watered down heavyweight division,
yeah. Heavyweight division ain't the same.
I don't think the heavyweight division.
So when
is watered down.
when I say overrated, right? And I hate speaking hypothetically, but could he had lasted in the Tyson era? where those guys who
I feel
could
like
knock you out
he
and
would-
still could box.
He would be substantial in the Tyson era. So you got to keep in mind the biggest problem.
Why you feel away?
The biggest problem with heavyweights
Mm-hmm.
is fatigue.
Right.
The biggest reason why he took the L's that he took, why Tyson Fury was able to land what he landed, is fatigue. He was tired in every fight that they've had. He was tired.
But the reason why he was fatigued is because he cannot box. He just throws a lot of haymakers, and that tires you out. So we're going to look at the heavyweight division because a lot of the heavyweights back in the day, fatigue wasn't an issue. They was fighting 15 rounds.
So
these guys can't even make it 8 rounds without getting tired.
So keep this in mind, right? Boxing is boxing, right? But you got boxers who can punch, and you got boxers who can't punch. And at the end of the day, boxing, in many ways, is about knocking people out.
Do you feel like he would have made it back in that?
But you got to have the ability to get hit without getting hit.
So my question is why? My question is why do you think that?
Because during that time, it was about knocking people out.
Yeah.
You got to keep in mind the only reason why Tyson Fury even came close to knocking him out, and the last fight that they had, keep in mind he knocked Tyson Fury down twice in the same fight.
Tyson Fury can box. So are you saying Wilder is on the same level of a Tyson? Because to me, Tyson
Absolutely.
is a knock. Tyson is a.
Listen.
Tyson is a knockout artist.
Beat Trapman in the football.
Hold up. Tyson is a knockout artist. He's not on the level of.
Not a knockout artist.
Yes, he is.
No,
he's not on the.
Tyson Fury is a boxer.
No, he's talking about Mike Tyson.
I'm talking about Mike Tyson. Is.
Okay.
Mike Tyson is not on the level of Evander Holyfield. He's not on the level of Lennox Lewis. He's not on the level of.
I need you to be specific.
Riddick Bowe. I'm talking technicians as far as boxing, setting you up.
Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, I'm talking Wilder, and if you put him in this heavyweight, not this.
We got two overrated and one
rated.
Underrated.
Correct. Right.
Or you say rated.
He's rated.
Okay. I'm asking you. Even Michael Moore can set you up. Technician.
Bro, don't bring Michael Moore in this conversation.
Listen, what I'm saying. He was a heavyweight champ.
That don't matter. That don't matter. Don't bring him in this conversation.
He was a champ.
He do not belong in this conversation.
He was a champ.
He
was a champ.
He don't belong in the conversation.
He was a champ.
Listen. You gotta understand. It's a reason that Deontay Wilder was 43-0.
Watered down heavyweight. Go ahead. What? Watered down heavyweight. Well, go ahead.
He ran through the entire division up to Tyson Fury. What do you mean? That's not watered down. He knocked King Kong out twice. Like that's a difference. He knocked King Kong out twice, and guess what? King Kong got 2 losses, and they came to him. That's all I'm saying. It's not a watered down division when you are fighting the best fighters in the division. Plain and simple.
When we say watered down, we mean that the best fighters in the division are cutting last and no other.
Right.
Like, can we agree that this is the weakest heavyweight division that we have seen in a long time in boxing?
It's not. Not right now. There was a division prior to this division.
No, I'm talking about one of. I said one of. Heavyweights have to be honest. Heavyweight, the heavyweight division has been garbage for a long time.
The heavyweight division has been completely limited, but with the arrival of Usyk, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, even Andy Ruiz, and that was just on some fluke based on him knocking Anthony Joshua out. Like, all of that has lifted that division.
I don't think none of them guys could have boxed in the Tyson, Holyfield, Riddick Bowe,
Lennox
Lewis, George Foreman
But
era.
if you base it off of that, is equivalent to none of these guys in the NBA right now playing in Jordan.
Well,
era.
that's not true because some of them guys could have lasted in the Jordan era.
Some,
but none of these bosses could have lasted in that.
No, some of them can,
except for maybe Tyson Fury because I'm a huge Tyson Fury fan.
I feel like Anthony Joshua probably could too.
I don't even like him.
Of course, nobody likes him.
He's a bum in my opinion.
Listen, he couldn't. So
who we got next?
Right.
Next up, we got Tyson Fury. Overrated, underrated. Tyson Fury. What you got?
One of the greatest to ever do it on the heavyweight division.
And he ain't one of the
underrated.
Greatest. He definitely ain't one of the greatest, but
the Gypsy King.
I'm gonna say underrated because he's a boxer, man. He sets you up. He's a technician.
I'm gonna say underrated, and the only reason why I'm saying underrated because he's like Jokic. He don't look like what he's capable of.
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the
Jokic
biggest difference.
don't look like anything, but he gonna give you buckets. I agree with you.
So next up, we're gonna go to Javonte Davis, underrated, overrated. I'm gonna start with you, B.
Underrated, man.
Underrated.
That's Tank, man.
What you got,
That's it.
Guru?
I'm kind of mixed, right, with this one because I say underrated because I feel like Tank, to me, should be the best pound-for-pound boxer, rated pound-for-pound boxer in boxing right now, right? So the reason why I'm kind of mixed is because I feel like Tank has been kind of picking and choosing who he fights. And he ain't really been mixing it up with some of these guys that I feel like he should be mixing it up with. But I'm going to still say he's underrated.
I feel like he's overrated. I feel like he is the Tyson Fury of his division. I mean, not the Tyson Fury. He's the Deontay Wilder of his division. He just ain't lost yet. His last couple of fights, he ain't looked the way he's supposed to look.
I agree.
Plain and simple. He's a knockout artist. He knock people out. That's what he do. Similar to Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder might be OC, out of control when he's fighting, but he not people out.
You don't
with
think
that out of
Tank
control
box
stuff.
better than Devontae Wilder?
I feel like Tank rely on the knockout. Tank, listen. Majority.
I agree with you.
I would say the last 10 fights, those fights Tank is down on the scorecards, and he don't win those fights if he don't knock these people out. So he's relying on a knockout, just like Deontay Wilder. That's the difference.
Okay.
Next up,
GOAT.
one of the GOATs in the boxing history, Pernell, Sweet Pea Whitaker, YP, represent completely underrated. What you got, B?
Underrated.
Underrated.
Know it.
He
Definitely. They robbed my man out of a couple of fights and everything. Underrated.
Man, listen, I'm telling you, my man Sweet Pea had the fastest hands I think I've seen up close and personal.
He was floored before floored.
He taught Floyd to be Floyd.
Yeah, I agree, man.
I think.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He was a game changer, and
I agree with that.
He got robbed quite a bit.
Quite a bit. Yes,
you know
sir.
what I'm saying? But
yes, sir.
He's definitely up there with the legends of the game. So
absolutely.
Speaking of legends, let's go to this one. Sugar. He's another one with the hands. What you got, Guru?
Sugar was underrated.
Underrated.
Yeah, Sugar was underrated, man. Sugar was a bad boy for real.
He was bad.
I'm talking about all the way around the board, like
defense, offense,
hand speed,
power,
punching power.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and he fought in the era where they was actually thumping and everybody fought everybody. Like, won't no ducking no whole lot of wreck back then.
I feel like he was rated. I feel like they gave him his flowers while he been.
Yeah, he did. Now he did, but he's underrated because a lot of people don't mention him in their best, greatest.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I ain't really heard him in too many people top 10.
Okay, and I mean I get it because it's a ton.
It is.
You know,
that weight class at that time when he was rocking out was tough.
Yeah,
it
was definitely different.
Hagler, all them guys, it was tough.
All right, let's go to the next one. Some people consider this man the GOAT over Muhammad. B, what you got? Overrated, underrated? Mike Tyson.
I'm a Tyson fan, man, but I'm going to say over, man. I'm going to say overrated. I'm going to say overrated, and the reason why I say that is because what you just said about Tank, man. You know, Tyson relied on a knockout a lot, man. He didn't really go the distance a lot, and whenever he did, or he fought people like Holyfield or Lennox Lewis, he got outboxed. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He got out technician. He got out schemed. You know what I mean? But I'm a Tyson fan, but I say over. You're overrated.
Guru?
We gotta go with. Are we talking
pre-rate.
Ritalin, Mike Tyson, or the one who was out the
Muslim,
Ritalin.
right? The Muslim one.
Because the one that was on the Ritalin, once they made the man take the medicine to slow him down, it kind of slowed him down all the way. So I think Tyson is arguably one of the greatest fighters to ever fight. Now I take nothing away from Iron Mike. So I'm gonna say he's rightfully rated where he's rated.
I feel like he's underrated. I'm gonna tell you why. Mike Tyson's underrated because of the way in which he fought. The way he fought, he was more aggressive than anybody to step in the ring, right? Not only that, but he changed the thought process of fights when you watched him fight. You would watch Tyson fight, and you would know, or it would be times where we wouldn't even get the pay-per-view because we like, yo, I hate to spend $90 on this pay-per-view and it's over in the first 30 seconds.
But see, but that's the crazy part about it because he fought in the era of the stolen cable. So we ain't really have to get no pay-per-view.
He did fight in the stolen
We just
cable
clicked the
era.
remote control a few times and 99 will pop right on the TV screen.
So, I remember them days, boy.
Just keep clicking it.
Straight up.
I remember because your aunt, so your mama used to make the kids be the ones who keep clicking the button so that you won't lose the signal.
And I noticed that with him, he moved forward constantly, no matter what, aggressively. He had people scared to come out the corner to fight him because of how powerful he was, and he would just beat and beat and beat and beat.
He changed the game, but he changed the game of boxing, and that's why I say. But he was on that medicine at that time.
And not on that, though. Not only that,
really, both of them dudes I just named really outboxed him. I agree with you, Guru. I agree with you, Guru.
They did,
but they outboxed him. I mean, to see Holyfield, not Holyfield, but Lennox Lewis keep him at arm's bay with his hand out and just tagging him.
That was the advantage Lewis had in that fight.
But see, that's the thing. That's why I say Mike.
So,
Mike
I agree with you.
He was a different Mike.
He was already
that's why I say. That's why I say if he
that's why I say even Buster Douglas Mike, you could tell that won't Mike.
Right.
You're right.
It's crazy because I think at that point Mike started to suffer from mental health issues at some point.
He suffered from a lot of things.
I agree with you on that
because he was on that medicine.
I agree with
he
you.
was on that medicine.
I agree with you on that.
Straight up. Mike is also the only boxer I heard say that he fought a fight with a broken back, but that's neither here nor there. That's
spinal.
The
Hold up, before you go. So if he never gets on the medicine, that says he go undefeated. I know we don't play ifs up here, but
know.
we don't know.
But I like to say he would have.
He would have, right, because he had that killer mentality for sure, definitely.
I mean, that mentality changed the way people looked at him in the ring. Like, I watched one fight where the dude in the corner was petrified,
right,
of moving out the corner,
right,
and then the moment Tyson walked up to him, one hit and boom, he gone.
Right, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let's go to the next, and this is arguably one of the GOATs, Floyd Money Mayweather, a.k.a. Pretty Boy Floyd.
Money May.
Guru. Underrated. He is the definition of defense.
Definitely underrated.
I feel like that he is an example. He set the tone. Boxing has the ability to be more slugfestish, and he changed that. The whole mentality of the less you get hit, the longer you last, goes a long way in boxing. We are down to our last person. Terrence Bud Crawford. Guru, overrated or underrated?
You know, I'm a big Bud Crawford fan, so this is going to sound a little strange when I say he's overrated.
He is overrated by the Guru. I humbly disagree. Bud Crawford is underrated. He is a switch hand fighter that can switch at any time. He got punching power, he got speed, he got defense. His ability to frustrate and confuse a fighter in the ring is substantial, and I'm looking forward to him and Spence fighting so people could see the difference in boxers and sluggers. I feel like that Terrence Crawford got the potential to be in the conversation with Floyd, just to be honest.
That's why he's overrated, for that comment alone.
Oh, you don't think so?
No.
You do realize that Floyd was never an undisputed champion, right? That means that he held every belt in the division. And Terrence Crawford became an undisputed champion in the division, gave all the belts up and moved up to conquer the next division. And guess what? If he fight Errol Spence and he beat Errol Spence, he'll be the only boxer in boxing history to be undisputed champion in 2 weight divisions.
That doesn't say a lot, though, to be honest.
How,
if you heard what Floyd says too many goddamn belts anyway, and they just giving belts away.
right. That's perfectly fine and everything, but to be one person and you collect the belts to everybody that was chosen to be champion or everybody that earned the right to be champion in that situation. And then you got somebody like Spence who pretty much collected these belts. And now they about to fight for the last one. And now one person in the most exciting weight class in boxing. For him to conquer that, for him to conquer one weight class, move up and then conquer the toughest weight class in boxing, that has to put him in that conversation.
We will see.
Absolutely.
And if he does it, then I would say he's the man.
Absolutely. All right. So guess what time it is? We'll be back, but we got the Guru's pick of the day. Bms Sports.
Don't want to miss it.
Don't want to miss it. Oh, yeah. And now it's the Guru's pick of the day.
Tonight's pick of the day is the Arizona Diamondbacks on the money line over the Chicago Cubs. Take everything you can beg, bar, and steal, and money line the Arizona Diamondbacks to defeat the Chicago Cubs.
All right. You heard it. It's the Guru's pick of the day. And with that said, every good thing must come to an end. And I just want to take the time and shout out my man B. Trotman.
I appreciate it.
The CARES team.
Appreciate it.
Check them out at share it.
Care CARE.LLC LLC, my fault. At yahoo.com. Yeah, definitely.
Kind of what do y'all do at CARE? A little bit, just a little
I'm
bit.
glad you asked that question. What we do at CARE is basically get kids back on the right track, man. That's a little off track. Kids deal with a lot of trauma, man, and with this pandemic, man, I didn't even realize it till the other day, but kids was out of school for a year and a half. They were isolated, man, not around other kids and things of that nature. So putting them back at school, kids deal with trauma. They deal with a whole lot of anxiety and things of that nature. So what we do is we come in and provide counseling, not only to the kid, but to the parents as well. We have therapists that provide therapy to the parents and everything else to get that family back on the right track, build that foundation back up, man, so those kids can have a good chance to be successful, man. So that's what we do at CARE, man.
That's awesome. That's
Man.
Need more like you.
Absolutely. Shout out to CARE.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you focusing on taking care of the future. That goes a long way.
I appreciate it.
With that said, hey, Bms Sports, take some time, subscribe, like, love, all that good stuff. Check us out on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, every social media platform, Batmore Sports, Batmore_sports. Batmore Sports app coming soon. Once again, www.betmoresports.com. Shout out to everybody that's watching, everybody that's listening. Again, like, comment, and subscribe. Guru.
You pretty much said it all, man. Follow us, Instagram, like, share, comment, man. Comment on YouTube, because the comments kind of help us, keep going and feed back into the community the information that needs to be fed back into the community, man. We like to interact with the people. Don't just watch the podcast. If you got something to say, if you think the Guru says something that you don't agree with, hey, say, man, Guru, you was wrong on this. Or if you think B. Trotman, because I can go back on this episode and find a lot of stuff that B. Trotman said that deserves a comment. So comment, man. Like, share, subscribe, man. Share, man, because the more you subscribe and the more you share, the more we can keep these lights on and keep giving y'all this good content week in and week out.
Absolutely. And if there's anything you want to hear us talk about, put it in the comments. And with that said, Bet More Sports, we out. Peace.
Till next time.